Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tiny Messy Kitchen, and today I'm making another cookie for the Christmas Spectacular that I do every year on tinymessykitchen.com, where I make a different cookie recipe each week in the month of December, getting you ready for Christmas. Today is going to be an oatmeal caramel chocolate bar. I believe the official name of it is a Chewy caramel bar. It's something I've never made before, but it looks really great in a newspaper ad that I saw. The greatest part about this recipe is that you don't need to let the butter sit at room temperature. All of the butter that you use in this recipe just needs to be melted. So that is one great aspect of this recipe. You don't need to wait for it to get to room temperature. You can make it whenever you'd like. So first we're making the crust of this. We're going to bake a little bit of the crust, put in the filling, top with the rest of the crust, and then bake it all together as a whole. So right now we are making the crust, and this is 3/4 of a cup of butter, which is 1.5 sticks of butter. We're going to add 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, a cup of oatmeal or rolled oats, and a cup of flour. So I'm going to start with the flour, add it all here, and stir it all up. Okay, now that the crust is all mixed up, you need 2/3 of it in the bottom of a pan. And this is a 9 by 13 inch pan, and I did spray it with some cooking spray just so it doesn't stick. So I'm going to take about 2/3 and press it along the bottom here. Okay. Now that we've got a pretty thin layer there, we're going to add it to a 350-degree oven, which I've already preheated, and this is going to bake for 10 minutes. And while this is baking, I'm going to make the filling, and I'll need to move over to the stove for that, so you will see me in just a bit in a different position. I'm making the filling here. I have 1 tablespoon of butter and 3 tablespoons of 2% milk, and I'm going to add 32 caramels, and these are the kinds that you unwrap. So I unwrapped those and adding those in, and just continually stir it until it's all melted together and smooth. So I'm doing this over a low heat. It's like a 2 on mine, which goes from low to high, and then it goes 2, 4, 6. So mine's on a 2, so pretty low, because I don't want anything to burn here. So I'm going to continually stir it until it becomes silky smooth, and I'll pick you up when that's done. Okay, and after about 10 minutes, the caramels, milk, and butter combine to make this silky caramel sauce. So now we can turn the oven off and pour this over our crust. Okay, and we have our cooled crust here. Here's the caramel. I'm going to spread this out so it gets to every corner. On top of the caramel layer, we're going to add 2 more things. We're going to add mini chocolate chips and some chopped nuts, and they said to use peanuts. And for the nuts part of it, you need to add about a 1/2 cup, which is what this container is. So sprinkle it on evenly. Okay, and then we're also going to add a full cup of mini chocolate chips. Now that we have the chocolate chips and the nuts and the caramel poured in, we're going to add the rest of our topping that we made at the beginning. That was part of the crust. So try and crumble this as best you can, and you only have about 1/3 or 1/4 of the crust left. So I'm just going to scoop little bits on and see how much we can spread it out here. Now that that's done, we're going to pop it in the oven again, and let's see, it's all cooled down. We're going to bake this for about 15 minutes, and then we'll be done. All right, And this is what it looks like when it's all done. It's been baking for about 15 minutes in a 350-degree oven. And I'm going to let it cool completely before I cut it into bars. But you cut it into about 12 or 16 bars. And that is a good snack with some crunch, chocolate, and caramel. So you can't go wrong with that. So I hope you guys enjoy.